Hey, what's happening, everybody? It is Mr. Bud, and today I want to talk to you about the value of emotional intelligence in your business. What is emotional intelligence? It's a new sort of category that's been emerging recently in the psychology world, in the business world, which really measures kind of how aware we are of our emotions and other people's emotions. Now, come to find out, this is so important that almost all the Fortune 500 companies are now doing extensive screening to determine every candidate they hire, especially at management level and higher, what is their EQ, what is their emotional quotient, their emotional intelligence. And it's actually one of the best indicators for determining how well they're going to manage people. Makes sense, right? I mean, people aren't ideas, they're people. And we all have emotions and we all interact with each other all day long. And so if you want to be great at leading people, you have to be aware of your own emotions and aware of their emotions so we don't end up creating chaos and controversy and drama and all the things that happen if we're not emotionally aware. So come to find out, this is actually a huge deal in the world of leadership. But it's also, I believe, a huge deal in the world of entrepreneurship. And what we need the most in the world of entrepreneurship, I think, to really be successful is actually a greater self-awareness of our emotions, not just other people's, but our own. And the reason why is when you're a business owner and when you're out there doing your own thing like you are, you're facing certain risks, right? You have uncertainty. I don't know how this call is going to turn out. I don't know, if this sale will come through. I don't know if this will happen. I don't know if that will happen. So there's just introduces this sort of generalized uncertainty. And uncertainty for a fairly unsavvy emotional system just creates fear. Uncertainty equals fear. And I think people that, they're not really emotionally aware, they don't really have a high EI, emotional intelligence, or EQ, emotional quotient. That's why they never even try to do their own thing. They just say, hey, let me go get a job and work for somebody else. And they stay in this pretty limited sort of box because they're unwilling to face those fears. They're unwilling to face that uncertainty and really take a risk and try something on their own. They just want safety and security and to stay kind of in that emotional box is really what it is. But when you're an entrepreneur, you don't have the luxury of staying in that box, right? That's not what we do. We want the upside of being an entrepreneur. We want to be able to create our own reality, our own future, our own income, our own purpose, our own ideas. And to do that, we have to break out of the box. We have to face uncertainty. We have to do things that people haven't done before a lot of times in a lot of cases. And one of the most valuable tools that we can possess to do that is emotional awareness. So I'm going to give you one tip, one amazing tool that you can use to raise your EQ today. You'll start doing this more today. I know you will after you hear it, and you'll take this concept, you'll take this idea, this principle deeper within you, and you'll start doing more of this because it will just make sense to you, and it's going to help you so much in your life and business. Now, what are the ways we overcome uncertainty and emotions and when things start to get muddy within us and maybe we're confused and maybe it's a little cloudy and maybe we don't know why we feel what we feel? One of the most powerful tactics you will ever use is self-observation. Self-observation. The warriors, the shamans of the Toltec tradition that I love, one of my favorite teaching traditions on the planet, they used to call this stalking, the way that a hunter stalks a prey. Okay, so imagine that visual real quick, or imagine a jaguar stalking a deer, its prey or something, right? So this is actually what you do with yourself. They called it stalking. We stalk ourselves. We watch ourselves. We observe ourselves. We know every single move that ourself makes. Because when we actually turn that attention back on ourselves and we turn that attention inward, we start learning a ton of things about ourselves. We start seeing the reason why we make decisions and why we do the things that we do. And why did this event just cause me to get scared? And this one caused me to get angry. And this one caused me to get excited or whatever it is. What's going on underneath that? And you start to just reap some huge rewards, some huge benefits. One quick example, let's say something were to get me very angry. Somebody did something and I didn't like what they did, and all of a sudden I'm off and I'm blaming them and blah, 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 and I'm justified in my anger. Well, for most people, they don't even question that, right? They just kind of run with that and they let that whole pattern play out, and eventually it'll fizzle and they'll go back to being on their day or whatever it is, right? Well, there's a huge loss of opportunity there. If you actually question, wait a minute, why am I angry? I need to observe myself right now. Like, is my anger justified? Should I be angry? Did I do anything to help create this situation? What was my role in this whole situation? What can I learn from this situation? What do I need to do differently next time so that I don't actually feel this, anger or whatever it is, which isn't actually that comfortable to feel. It kind of feels a little out of control and all this stuff. If you start asking all those questions and you turn that observation inward, we almost always end up realizing that there's changes we can make that will have us not produce that result in the future. It'll either have us getting rid of people in our lives who are creating drama, or changing the way we're interacting with people so that we don't create drama, and all of a sudden just leading to better results in our life. And the same is true with business. The same is true with clients, with customers, with lead generation strategies and tactics, with ideas we have, with everything. When we turn our observation inward and we just observe ourselves and our own emotions and how we feel about things, ultimately what happens is we start to get more clear. Clarity emerges in our life, and that clarity is power. That clarity is the opposite of uncertainty. Okay, so when you use self-observation, you can actually eliminate uncertainty from your life. You can get clarity, and inside clarity is power. And when you have power as an entrepreneur, now you're talking about kicking ass and taking names and leaving whatever you can make as a W-2 employee in the freaking dust and going out there and building an amazing business for yourself that changes the world and changes your life. So, what are the takeaways? 1, invest in your EQ and in your emotional intelligence because it's going to make you more successful in business. Number 2, what's one of the most powerful ways to do that? Self-observation. Begin observing yourself in every capacity. Observe your emotions, observe your thoughts, observe your feelings, observe what you love, observe what you hate, observe every part of yourself, and you'll start to learn some amazing things that are going to give you clarity, and clarity is power so you can succeed more. We'll see you guys in the next video.